I was recently browsing through an old family cookbook when I came across a recipe for a Black Forest cake. The recipe used boxed devil food cake mix and a can of prepared cherries. But what really attracted my attention was a photograph of a Bavarian woman dressed in traditional folk costume, and the story of how the Black Forest cake is an interpretation of those costumes, black and white with cherries on top. My Black Forest cake has a surprise layer of cherries baked inside. To make this Black Forest Bundt cake, you'll need very few ingredients. You'll need 5 dry ingredients, 3 cups of flour, 1½ cups of sugar, 1/2 cup of cocoa, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Your wet ingredients will be 3/4 of a cup of vegetable oil, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 2 tablespoons of white distilled vinegar, and 1½ cups of cold water. You'll also need a recipe of my cherry sauce, which you can find on my YouTube channel, and a prepared Bundt pan, greased and floured. You're going to start with your 3 cups of flour. Everything just gets dumped into a large mixing bowl. 1½ cups of white sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of coarse salt, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and 1/2 cup of cocoa powder. With a whisk, blend this all thoroughly until it's thoroughly combined. When your dry ingredients are thoroughly mixed together, it's time to add your wet ingredients, everything except for the vinegar. So once your batter is nice and smooth and silky, it's time to add the vinegar. Remember, in these Bundt cakes, the vinegar is your leavening agent. It will react with the baking soda, and this is when you need to work rather quickly to get this into the pan. So we're going to start with half the batter poured into the Bundt pan, then a layer of the cherry sauce, and then finish it off with the last layer of the cake batter. I'm adding our first layer of cake batter. And now the cherries. When I did this recipe of the cherry sauce, I did increase the cornstarch just a little bit to make the sauce a little thicker than you would ordinarily have it, because you want this not to be too liquid within the cake. This is such a lovely surprise layer in a Black Forest cake. To be eating this delicious chocolate cake and then to find this whole layer of cherries hidden within the cake. Once your cherries have been laid in, you just finish pouring your batter directly on top of the cherries into the Bundt pan. You've preheated your oven to 350 to 375 depending on your oven, and this will bake between 40 and 45 minutes, again depending on your oven. Once your cake is out of the oven and at room temperature, it's time to give it a generous dusting of powdered sugar. If you choose to finish this cake with the chocolate ganache, you'll need a flat bottom pan, 4 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate, and 4 ounces of heavy cream. You'll start with your 4 ounces of heavy cream, bringing it to a gentle boil, and then once it's thoroughly heated, you add your 4 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate to the cream, remove it from the heat, and stir it until the chocolate has melted. With your warm ganache, you're just going to lay this across the top of the cake, and it will run down the sides and leave an absolutely beautiful chocolate layer. Now, if you're really looking for a dairy-free version of this Bundt cake, you would not use the ganache because it is made with heavy cream. I'm just adding a decorative dollop of whipped cream and a cherry on top. A classic Black Forest cake would consist of 4 layers of cake, whipped cream, and then iced with additional whipped cream, shaved chocolate, and cherries on top. One of the problems with making this the traditional way is that the cake can't be frozen because of the whipped cream. My cake with the cherries baked inside and the glazed with the chocolate ganache and then served with whipped cream on the side is a perfect solution. And who doesn't love chocolate cherries and whipped cream? This is sure to become a family favorite.